Hey there, this is Jacinta Alicia at The Empowered Professional, and today we're getting into part 2 of the number one thing you're missing in your career and in your life. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification so you can get notified whenever new videos are added, which is every week. I'm so happy you're here. Well, let's get right into it. Now, for those of you that didn't watch the first video in this series, hit the pause button on this one and open up a new tab. That way you have the full context. Now, for everyone else, we're talking today about the why behind the value audit system and why it's important. Put it clearly for everybody. The reason why a value audit system for you is important, it provides you with a unique and personal compass to keep you in alignment, especially when you get out of sync or you get off track. Now, what the value audit system does is it allows you to build a personalized and unique system, really a compass that helps keep you on track and in alignment. That is why you should use it and do it. The other reason why this is important is because your career doesn't determine your worth. Let me say that one again. Your career doesn't determine your worth. Now, the value system is intended for both, right? We talked about this in the first video, for your life and your career, but we're really going to talk more, or a lot, I should say, about the career aspect today. When I say your career doesn't determine your worth, what I mean by that is whatever you do to make money, whatever your title is, whatever company you work for, whatever industry you're in, or maybe if you have multiple jobs, whatever that looks like for you, we can sometimes put far too much weight and clout on our careers and what we achieve within them. And we tie who we are to those things. And they are separate. They are not the same. They are separate. Or really, in my opinion, they should be. The reason I emphasize it so much is because when you have folks, or maybe you've been in the situation where your job is at risk, or maybe the career you've worked so hard on, it gets off track, something threatens it. Well, what the hell do you do when that happens? How do you feel about yourself? What do you tell yourself about who you are, what you're capable of, and ultimately what you're worth? And how does that dictate your behavior? Now, the final thing I want to highlight here is, who are you living your life for? Let that one sink in a little bit. Is it the status quo, which tells you that more money, more things will provide you happiness and fulfillment? They're the things that society validates as being worthy of proving what kind of person you are, or your sense of worth. Notice that's a common theme, is your worthiness and your sense of worth. Is that what you're living your life for? The value audit begs that question. Who are you living your life for? I talked about time in part 1 and how that's our most valuable asset ultimately. It's the asset that we can't get back. Once we expend it, it's gone. And we really have to treat it like currency. Some of us strive for money and protect it. We want more of it. We should have that sort of behavior really with respect to our time, because you can always make more money. Money comes and goes freely. Your time doesn't. There is one solid truth in life, at least one. And there's a saying that goes along with this. I'm just going to take part of it. And that is that the one thing in life that is certain, the one thing in life that you can count on happening, is that we are all going to die ultimately. And that is something we have to grapple with. Your mortality, the value audit system makes you reflect back from that lens to really decide what's important to you in your life. All right. So now that I've gotten your attention talking about mortality and death, and side note related to that, I know that thinking about your own death might seem morbid, and it probably makes you uncomfortable, and you may want to not think about it. In our society, it's taboo to talk about death. That's one of the reasons this is so powerful. And what I'll ask, if discomfort is coming up for you and me talking about this and you thinking about your death ultimately and your mortality, that's uncomfortable, that's okay. Stick with it and sit with it, because this still is a very valuable practice and thing to do, and it will help you stay in alignment. That is normal, and it's also okay. Back to what I was going to say, which is, let's talk about one value in the life category and then also in the career category. I gave some examples previously, and I'm going to use one of each of those again. In applying this to, let's say, a career aspect, let's talk about needing to be challenged within your career, needing to evolve and to grow as a value, growth, to put it more simply. And then in life, family being a value. Maybe you're someone that has children. And for the sake of this, that's what we're going to talk about, is let's assume that you're someone that has children. So let's talk through an example of what that might break down to in real life. An additional side note is that there isn't a right answer, and there also isn't a wrong answer. There's only the answer that makes the most sense for you based on your unique circumstances and your unique values. And you might be thinking, well, this is all great, but I have to make money, I have to provide for my family, and I may not have the luxury deciding between those two things because I have to prioritize my money. What I'll say to that is there's a lot of nuance, of course, with your particular financial circumstances, and that's where it ultimately goes back to you. But at the same time, I'm going to remind you that we don't know how much time we have left on this earth. And survival is absolutely important and obviously essential. So I won't diminish the importance of that. If someone's in a situation, and if you were in a situation where it was a matter of, dire straits and being able to pay bills that lead to your ultimate survival, that's a somewhat different of a context, of course. I am speaking about this more from the lens of you have a little bit more autonomy and choice because you're not in a situation maybe where you're struggling, but this still has merit and value through those lenses, because situations ultimately are temporary and your values are lifelong and they're lasting. So they help carry you through the storm of those challenges when they do come up. We've gone in pretty deep in this video, and we're going to wrap up now so you can breathe a sigh of relief if this has gone way beyond the scope of what you anticipated originally. But you're not off the hook just yet. I do have homework for you, which is I want you to download either Age Accelerator app or use a website, and I want you to get a more recent picture of yourself and to age that picture at least to age 65. And if you're, around that age anyway, then go upwards to 80 or above. But the point is to age yourself using either an app or a website that allows you to do this. Once you've done that, I want you to save this picture. And the next step to this homework is go into a quiet space again, get 10 minutes of time on the timer, and for uninterrupted, I want you to write a letter from that point of view, whether you're 65 or 80, and using that picture in this practice to write a letter to your current self about the things that you have learned, the triumphs that you've overcome, and really to give advice to your current self. A bonus for the parents out there is to get even more and make this practice and this homework even more meaningful. get a picture of your child or children if you have more than one. I want you to also age their photograph and use that to help kind of paint a full picture in this letter writing. It may not hold the same weight or land the same if you're just doing it for yourself. A lot of the time it's hard for us to see beyond ourselves, but when we do it from the perspective of our children, then it holds a different sort of weight ultimately. All right, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned. In the next episode will be the third and final version for this video series, and we will break down how to apply the value audit system. In the meantime, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please comment. Let me know how the letter writing went for you, what other takeaways you got from this video, or thoughts that you had from watching it. And please, if you know someone that would benefit from this video, share it with them, because it's not only meant for you, but for anyone who would find value from this. Until next time, stay safe out there, folks.